Hey everyone, welcome to Withering Effect, episode 134. Today's date is March 6, 2022, and I am Duds or Duds Versus to the rest of the interwebs.
And I'm Jimbo. You may know me as Jimbo Slice 23. So what have you been up to this week, Duds?
Designing a new base.
A whole new base?
Kind of. So, I've outgrown my quote-unquote starter house.
Mm-hmm.
It's still functional, it's still useful, but I'm overflowing in a couple of chests like deep slate. I already have 2 chests full of deep slate, and now I'm overflowing. Same with spruce wood. Who could imagine that building in a spruce forest? You'd run out of space to store all the spruce wood you chop down.
Right. Well, there's always a time where the starting place always gets a little cluttered, gets a little tight.
Yeah, I was smelting a bunch of glass, and I only have 4 furnaces, so it took a little while.
Yeah.
So I need an auto smelter and stuff like that, and I just don't have space for that now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the point now where creativity is really kicking my butt. The area I'm building in is not really inspiring to me right now, which is hurting.
Yeah.
Everyone knows my style by now, and I love to be inside somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an interiors guy. I'll dig a hole in a mountainside, build a base that way. It's the easiest thing in the world.
It's a lot easier to expand, I feel like.
So much easier to expand that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I really can't do that where I'm at now. I have to basically design a building with everything I want in it, thought of in advance, even though I might not be able to build the thing I'm thinking of for 3 or 4 months down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the hardest part.
I'm building inside of the ground
Mm-hmm.
and outside, just above it on the island. But for instance, I had these farms I want to put in my base. One didn't quite fit in, which is the creeper farm. But because I live in the ground, I could just pick a hole, I just pick a hole, dig a hole out there, make it look pretty.
Yep.
And there it is. I could put the creeper farm there. If you're above ground, it's a little bit different,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely know what you're dealing with.
Well, and the other part is I'm building essentially my own survival over again.
Okay.
It's the same base formation and everything.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I didn't realize it till like this week. I was like, oh no, this is like the exact same thing, just on a grander scale.
Okay.
And it's like, ugh. So I'm trying to work on what essentially would be my largest exterior building I've ever built.
Ooh.
That's tough for me because I'm not an exteriors guy, but I'm trying to plan out all the stuff that has to go inside of the interior and making it look good at the same time. And I'm building in a style I've never really built in. Like, I'd call most of my building style a more modern-ish style.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now I have to throw in, I don't want to say medieval style, but it's very much a craftsman style house, like more log cabin
Mm-hmm.
style building. And that's something I'm not very good at, so it's slow. And I feel bad because that's all I've done this weekend is been in creative mode, trying to design a building that may not get built for 2 episodes.
Ooh.
So it's like the content is probably a little draining right now. I need to get on and get some stuff worked out. And I've got 3 or 4 iterations of this same building that I'm trying to work out. And it's getting to the point where it's like, look, I just need to probably stop designing in creative, because that's never been my forte anyways, and just start placing blocks in survival.
Yeah.
And build on it from there.
Yeah. I'm in the same situation as you, and I'm thinking about doing the same thing. Just jump out of creative, start placing some blocks. I kind of got something going there, but yeah, just placing blocks in survival helps you move on. It gets you out of that creative block sometimes.
Exactly. But other than that, like, that's it. Like, since last week, I haven't done an absolute ton on the server. Most of my time has been in creative mode.
Yeah.
What about you? What have you been up to?
Well, I've been in creative mode also, trying to design a house for my island, kind of like a cottage type of deal. And I have a picture. I shared it in the Discord, and I'm trying to put it in Minecraft.
Yeah.
And you kind of can't. You kind of got to switch a bunch of stuff. In the picture, all the colors are the same, so I got to kind of try to find the blocks that I think would go right here. And it looks good, but it doesn't look like that picture, and I'm kind of want it to look like that picture. If I can get it all done to where, it looks good, it looks like a cottage, like a build, and not so much like the picture, then I'll be okay with that as long as it looks good. Again, I'm doing the interior. I want to do a full interior because I've never done that before. And, that's what I like to do. And from season to season, do things I'm not usually, I'm outside my comfort zone, similar to what you're doing. So, yeah, I've been doing that. And it's kind of coming together. Again, there's like this part of the building to where I feel like if I go in survival and just started placing blocks, the only problem is do I have the blocks I need?
Right.
I want to make sure this part of the house has certain blocks. I want to know what blocks I'm using, for one.
I'm the exact same way.
Yeah, so I don't want to go in survival and then not have the right blocks and place all these blocks and have to tear it down. That's the only bad part about it, but it does get the juices flowing. But I'm dealing with that in creative mode. I usually don't go in creative either. And I've been doing a lot of landscaping. To put the house on the island, I need a good-looking island, so I wanted to landscape a little bit. It kind of goes in with the storyline of my episode. I'll be revealing a lot more of that next episode, but with the landscaping and designing and creative, it's kind of held me up a little bit, but I want to get to building more farms. I want to add the creeper farm. I added an entrance, like I was just saying. I added an entrance into my base to the creeper farm, just haven't dug it out or anything. I have the spot. I just want to get my storyline in, get some things done on the outside to where I can move on.
Yeah.
And get this creeper farm in. I have a lot of stuff to do, a lot of plans, but just a lot of creative I'm going to have to go to figure out how I'm going to do some of these things.
Yeah, that's the worst part is the planning to make sure everything's working the way it should, but then at the same time not knowing exactly what you want.
Right.
Like I'm so used to going into a season with an overall picture in my head. Ever since the 3rd season of Hermitcraft, I've had a picture in my head of what the final base will look like. So I can pick little tiny pieces and continue to grow. Just chunk it out a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there. But this season's the first time I've gone in essentially blind, no plan, and that was dumb.
Yeah, I want to try to switch up my building style a little bit. In the ground, I notice it's fairly similar to what I build with, but I get real jealous when I see all these Minecraft players, like some of the the really, really good builders. It doesn't matter what style it is. I have trouble with certain styles, but some people just know. They can build in any style. You give them a style, they'll build a building in it. And I just want a cottage right here by the water.
Exactly.
That's all I want. And there's probably 100,000 people that could build that easy.
Oh, dude.
And I can't.
Trust me.
I got my own thing.
So I finished my light block farm last episode, right? And I was trying to put a cover over top of it. So I'm trying to build this hobbit hole, and it just looks like garbage. It's a hot mess. I'm like, it's a hobbit hole. It shouldn't be that hard to build. Why does this style not work with me? And I'm working on it, I can't figure it. And finally, I'm cashing in my IOU to Link, because Link does amazing hobbit holes. So she comes over and within an evening, knocks it out. Done.
Yeah. Oh, she came to your base and did it.
Yep. Beautiful.
Okay. Yeah, I saw the picture. I was like, man, she even has the world download and everything.
Yup.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, there's just some styles that physically don't mesh well with people. I've definitely seen that.
Yeah. Good thing there's Hermitcraft just started back up. Those of you who don't know, Hermitcraft is here.
Yep.
It does help gain inspiration from watching these pro builders build these awesome looking buildings. Though, like I said, you can see it, doesn't mean you can build it. So
I know. I haven't seen his episode yet, but Rindog's Factory, just seeing that from a distance in other people's videos, I'm like, oh, that looks so good.
Yeah. And I don't see him as that kind of builder either. So he's expanding his building. At least I don't remember him building anything like that.
He did that a lot early in Hermitcraft and Kingdomcraft.
Okay.
That's an original style. It's like he's going back to.
Okay, yeah, I don't ever remember that style Rendog.
Yeah, should we go ahead and move on to the news?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, not a lot of news. Kind of seems to be a reoccurring theme lately. So we had the Deep Dark, what is it called?
Experimental snapshot.
Experiment, that's the word. I was like, expose? No, it starts with an EX.
Close enough.
Yeah. But yeah, the experimental snapshot released. Now 1.18.2 is fully released. The big things from that are the new tagging system for basically everything in the system. The new place feature where you can essentially place everything in the tag system. And data packs need to be updated to version 9 instead of version 8. So there's that.
So if we were to upgrade our server.
Yeah, Winter would have to go through and change a number.
Oh, that doesn't sound too bad. Could be. It could be a pain. I don't know. I don't moderate.
Yeah, I don't know what all goes into upgrading from version 8 to version 9, but
right.
If it's like texture packs is just a single number that you just open the code and switch and it works.
Hopefully that's the case.
The other news is if you play Java, you now have Bedrock for PC. If you play Bedrock for PC, you've got Java.
Cool.
That's all coming in the new launcher, which I still don't use. Sorry, Mojang, but your new launcher is horrible.
Me neither. I think I tried to use it once and I had issues with something. I'm like, why even use it? I'll just use the other.
Yeah, I gave it a good 2 weeks of trying to use it. And for me to click on the icon to start the game, and for me to get into Ripple Effect, took something like 7 minutes. It was just so slow. And I know it's not my computer.
Yeah.
Doing it the old way is still longer than it should, but it's less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Yeah. That being said, I have got my money for my CPU, and I will be ordering that sucker any day now. I just have to have the courage to disconnect my entire computer and put a new CPU in.
Yeah.
I always hate doing that because
that's like the core too.
Yeah, you lose at least a day or two just making it, because it really is a simple, easy upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
It takes less than 15 minutes to install it, but it's the unhooking all the computer stuff. And when I do that, I'm going to rearrange my desk. So like right now, my Go XLR is underneath my monitors, which means every time I need to hit the mute button, I have to roll up and like reach and move. And I'd rather have it down towards my hand, where my hand's on the mouse.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be a lot of changes coming with that.
Yeah, I always seem to do that when I put new parts in, just to redo everything.
Yeah.
I'm already putting a part in.
But maybe that'll mean faster load times. I'll give the new launcher a try again when that happens.
Yeah, see how that goes.
As of right now, the old launcher's still the better launcher for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had to put a new CPU in, and it's originally when you build a PC, that's the first thing you mess with.
Mm-hmm.
Put the CPU in, make sure it's secure, and you build around it. So that being the first thing you do, you have to take a bunch of parts out.
Yeah. Well, see, and I'm weird, and I build my computers backwards, and I know there'll be a lot of people who build computers who will yell at me for doing this, but I always buy a modular PSU.
Mm-hmm.
So I put the PSU in before anything else.
Okay.
And then do the motherboard stuff after. So it's easier for me to run the power plugs. And I know there's a ton of computer guys going, no, you have to test it before you install it. You won't know if it works or not, bro. It's like, yeah, I know, but I just want to build the computer.
Yeah, I had some troubleshooting issues when I did mine.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty simple.
That's all the news we got this week. Like we said, it was not a news-heavy week.
Yeah, well, Hermitcraft started. That's another thing for the news. That's something we watch and we like to talk about.
I was excited for Hermitcraft to come back. I felt Minecraft in a whole was taking a bit of a beating without those guys on.
Yeah, it seemed like it, didn't it?
Yeah, it's just kind of one of those things where, yes, there's not a direct link, but it's one of those when there's good, high-quality content out there with more recognizable names, it kind of trickles down to the smaller names.
Yeah, I was always curious. We talked about this a little bit. How our numbers compare with them uploading or not uploading? You know what I mean? Because we're in the same category.
I have actually a direct correlation as of this morning.
Ooh, okay.
So for the 2 months they were off, my number steadily dropped. Not so much in viewership. That's the one thing I can say about my community that's great. Is I average about the same viewership on every episode.
Nice.
It sometimes takes a little bit, such as like I don't get most of my views day one or in the first 48 hours like most people get. I get most of my views within the first week, but I generally can get between 80 to 100 views every episode.
Nice.
Which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But the subscriber count, before Hermitcraft quit, I was gaining at least a sub a day. If I got one sub a day, that was actually a slow day. And then Hermitcraft quit. And then I went from a sub a day to a sub a week. Such as last week, I gained one sub. And I was like, ooh, this is rough. Hermitcraft started 24 hours ago. I gained 4 subs overnight.
Ooh, I didn't grab any.
And you're like, oh, well, that could be like everyone could be like, that's a coincidence. Except for when you look at the chart, you can see the slow decline of subs per day, per week. And then all of a sudden, doop. Now, we'll see if that continues to uptrend.
Right.
But with the influx of Minecraft content, I think more Minecraft content's getting pushed around. And that helps.
And the good thing about Hermitcraft, it's more centered around YouTube instead of Twitch.
Yes.
So it kind of helps drive traffic to our channels as well.
And I just think about last night, because I watched so much Hermitcraft, I got 3 or 4 new like small subscribers, less than 500 subs in my recommended. I thoroughly enjoyed it. They all got a sub from me last night.
Oh, nice.
If you're one of the people I watched last night, GG.
Yeah, that's cool.
Should we go into listener comments, or do you have something else?
No, that's all.
Okay. Yay, Hermitcraft. That's all. Let's see. We got a listener comment from iamkaradanvers. They ask, what would you guys think the scope of the 1.19 update will be? You know, the wild update, or as Carl calls it, Caves and Cliffs Part 3. They also say, the Swamps and Birch forests seem to be confirmed. Do you think any other biomes will be included? If so, what would your top picks be?
I'm really hoping they include other biomes. I mean, all we really got to see is the swamp. Even the birch isn't like confirmed.
That's what I was about to say. I don't even know if we're going to get the birch. I haven't seen a single picture other than a
concept art.
Yeah, concept art.
Yeah, that's it. There hasn't been any Minecraft visuals of it. So it's hard to say. You think they gave the experimental snapshot, there would be... well, they didn't give us swamps there, I don't think, just deep dark.
No, yeah, just deep dark.
You would think a little bit more information would have been spilled out there about these new biomes, but I'm just seeing swamp frogs, tadpoles. You know, we got our mangrove trees, mud. It's a good bit for one biome, not gonna lie, but...
It really is.
I feel like, yeah. In order for me to be right that it's a biome update, I think they're going to have to touch up on more biomes, or else it just doesn't count for just one.
Yeah, updating one biome doesn't make it a biome update.
Right.
Even adding the deep dark, a completely new biome, doesn't make it a biome update.
Correct.
And you're right in the fact that we don't have anything on the birch forest, and I'm kind of doubting we're going to get anything on the birch forest. I don't want to say we've seen all we're going to get in the wild update, because I don't think that. I definitely think there's more work being done behind the scenes, and they're just not ready to show it yet.
Yeah.
I also know that we're slowly closing in on the summer release date, and that gets a little worrisome.
Is it this summer they're releasing it, 119?
That's what it was advertised. That being said, we've had delays before.
Yeah, we just got an update in December. That's what I was kind of confused about.
Well, we got that update in December because it was delayed from the summer.
Right. Yeah, I was just going to say that. But yeah, there's a bunch of biomes that we voted on early on, and that didn't make it, that were supposed to make it eventually. That was the idea. Just because you didn't vote on them now doesn't mean they're not going to be implemented later. And I feel like the wild update, this is your opportunity to put in the new biomes. It depends how big that biome update is, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they have a huge update for the savannah that we have no idea, you know.
I was just about to say, savannah's the one I want to see the most, because I feel like it's becoming a forgotten biome. Not a lot of people build and play there. Savannah used to be my absolute well, Shattered Savannah, my absolute favorite.
Yeah, it is cool. Any kind of wacky terrain can be inspiring.
But Birch Forest, I did have this thought the other day. I'd like to see a new tree. And by that, I don't mean like a full-on new tree type. Kind of like how you have the oak tree, and then you have the big oak tree.
Okay.
I'd like to see a birch tree and maybe a big birch tree. Not exactly the exact same shape, per se.
They don't grow the same?
Right, just changing up how they grow. And now, that might upset some log farmers and their machines.
It does. I'm upset.
Quiet down, lumberjack. This is for interesting stuff. But yeah, I'd like to see a new birch tree. That'd be cool. I really like the idea of the fallen birch tree that you find in the biome, just kind of like logs laying on their side on the ground.
Mm-hmm. They do have that for Bedrock.
Yep. The side mushrooms on the trees were really cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. See, now that all could just be concept art, you know?
Yeah.
Because they didn't seem like big mushrooms like protruding out of the trees. It could be something that grows on the trees. But as of right now, I just see a birch tree. Yeah, there's little mushrooms there, but I don't know if that's part of the update.
To me, these are things that I would think could be added to the game relatively easily.
Yes.
So it wouldn't take a lot of time. So yeah, we may not have seen anything from the birch forest yet, but maybe these are things they're adding in and they know it's not that huge of an addition. So they can wait a little bit, pay more attention to the ancient cities in the deep dark. The big bulk of the update is coming there. We know that.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. Like, there's so much to the deep dark that hasn't been answered too. And that's what they're giving us, let alone the biomes. Like, we have questions about the biomes, but, you know, there's also this giant portal in the deep dark. There's also what's in the deep dark. Why do we want to go there? You know, we're waiting for the loot to drop.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know. I think them waiting on some of these things would give away the future a little bit. You know, we might see what's in the portal in 2 updates, I feel like. Something along those lines.
Yeah, and it may not even be a portal.
Yeah, it might not.
It totally looks like a portal. It seems like it's going to act like a portal. Though I will say, if it's not a portal, let us mine those blocks. Let us create those blocks. Those are good-looking blocks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as of right now, we don't know what they're for.
Yeah. To me, that's my biggest frustration in this game, is to put something in the game, I then have to find a way to travel to use. And it's like, I want to be able to be creative with the blocks. Let me, like, the geodes. I have my nice light block farm with the geode in the hallway, but because my hallway was one block off, I now can't use one specific budding amethyst because of that. It's like, let me move one block. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe by piston. Yeah, why not?
Exactly. Well, I want to craft those reinforced blocks. They look so good, and putting them on the corner of a deep slate build would look absolutely amazing.
Yeah, looks like it can be used in a lot of instances.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe it being it's just reinforced deep slate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think maybe add an iron to deep slate? You know, maybe.
Exactly.
It looks like something that can be crafted, you're right.
Mm-hmm. FragileRock is live in the chat, and he's mentioning that they do need to keep the adventuring part of the game alive. I just gave up on thinking about geodes. I get they want to keep the adventuring part alive.
Yeah.
But once I have found something, it is no longer an adventure.
Yeah.
It's now just travel time, which means I'm wasting time moving back and forth that I could be playing the game, or wasting time AFKing at a spot that I could be playing the game.
Yeah, I guess it is. I don't know, you can. I forget what I was going to say here. You can take a break with what you're doing when playing Minecraft to go adventure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you ever needed a break, I do that sometimes. You know, if I feel like I'm building too much, if I'm landscaping too much, I'll just go out and explore a little bit, see some really cool things, and come back. But you're right. Once you have your home, this is your base. You know, you don't want to get too far away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've done that a couple times. I've come across the Dark Oak Mansion and stuff on my little adventures.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the way I play the game. I like building small, efficient farms that can run in the background, that don't lag anything, that can be constantly running, so I can get the materials I need at a decent pace. If I have to go travel somewhere, I'm now building the most massive farm I can, no matter lag or anything like that, just so I can AFK there the least amount of time possible, so I can have more time to play the game than to wait, if that makes sense.
No, I get it.
Like, you look at my wheat farm, it's a small farm. You look at my sugarcane farm, I think my sugarcane farm's 7 blocks long, and that's it. And I already have a chest full of it, just running quietly in the background. It's so nice. The geodes are down below my base, luckily, so they're just running in the background. And it's nice to have that, to have to go to a location. I get wanting players to explore, but I want to bring stuff back too.
Yeah, geo's a complicated one.
It is.
Because not only do you, if you don't get lucky enough and base around it, then it's not going to grow unless you're near it. So you'd have to go there, wait.
Yeah.
AFK. If it's near you, at least you can work on your base while it produces the crystals.
Well, luckily geodes do spawn quite frequently underground.
Yeah, more often than I thought.
The problem is running into one.
Right. Yep, there could be one right next to you. You'd have no idea.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to run into one of mine when I was doing the iron farm, and I just so happened to follow the cave around to notice I had 2 more right next to each other. So I got lucky on that. I don't even use the first one I found because the other 2 were such an easy, close together find.
Yeah, I found one early this season that I don't go to anymore.
Yeah.
I have one right under my base. Pretty convenient.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
But we have definitely diverted from the question.
Yeah, maybe we answered the other questions, though, during that. Probably not.
But we did answer the first part of Swamps and Birch Forest seems to be confirmed. But if there was a biome I had to pick that would be included in there, it would be savannas. I'd love to see savannas get an update.
Yeah, I'd probably go desert.
Desert would be a close second for me.
Possibly mesa, just because, I don't know, mesa's kind of unique in itself. Yeah, I'd say desert.
Mesas already look cool to me.
Yeah, that's a thing.
They are a bit barren, but they do have mine shafts and stuff towards the surface.
Yeah, I feel like it's more busy than the desert.
Yeah, but thank you for those questions. I am Karadanvers. That comment was from our Discord, and it's the only place where you can talk to everyone who works on the show easily. Just take YDYT's word for it.
Hey everyone, I'm YDYT and I'm a member of the Withering Effect Discord. It's a great place to hang out with fellow listeners like me and the people who work on the show. So join today and let's discuss the game we love. There are links in the show notes.
Speaking of the Discord, it's the only place you can get involved in our mending. Whoa, I totally just skipped a section there. I've been off all morning. Thank you for the Discord ad, YDYT. And speaking of the Discord, it's the only place you can get involved in our Mending Minecraft vote. This week, we asked you to choose between one of 3 mobs for us to discuss and improve. Your choices were Panda, Skeleton Horseman, and Husk.
And the winner of Mending Minecraft this week is... Skeleton Horseman.
Yeah. I was so hoping it wasn't the Panda.
Yeah, it was close. I think no, not with the Panda.
Yeah.
The Husk had 21 votes. Skeleton Horseman had 26. So it was close between them.
Yeah.
Panda only 4.
I had some ideas for the Husk, but not as much for the Husk as a Skeleton Horseman.
Yeah, Skeleton Horseman's pretty rare. So a few things on the Skeleton Horseman. A Skeleton Horseman is a jockey type mob that can spawn during a thunderstorm. An uncommon type of weather in Minecraft, which is called a skeleton trap. I misspelled that. The lightning is triggered when a player moves within 10 blocks of the skeleton horse, which triggers a 4 skeleton riders wearing enchanted gear will appear riding the horses. I messed that up too, but I think you got it.
Yeah, words are hard today.
Yeah, I don't know. Did I write that right? Skeleton Horseman can spawn in different variants, strays and wither skeletons. That was the last thing I had that I saw on there.
I've never seen a Skeleton Horseman spawn as a stray or a wither skeleton.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a true statement, but it was on the wiki. But that's it. That's all. Skeleton Horseman, pretty rare.
Yeah. I think the Skeleton Horseman trap's actually pretty cool. It's a bit annoying, but it is a cool trap. When it first came out, I remember we were in season 1 of Hermitcraft, and these stupid things were littered everywhere. So they were really annoying when they first came out. It seems to have been fixed over time, but I really actually like this. They all spawn with enchanted helmets, and the wiki was like, well, you can farm arrows and enchanted helmets with this. If you are getting your enchanted helmet from a skeleton horseman and not a villager, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there. That enchanted leather hat is worthless.
Yeah, well, it's iron.
It's iron?
They always spawn with iron. That's another thing I didn't put on there. Always an iron hat and a bow.
Still worthless.
May or may not be enchanted.
Yeah, so I like the fact that they can spawn with the lightning trap, but I also think they should be, like, native to a biome.
Oh, okay.
So maybe the Badlands. Maybe they have a 25% chance of spawning in the Badlands.
Oh, okay. More percentage in certain biomes.
Mm-hmm. But not necessarily by lightning attack. Like, you don't need to wait for... They just... Night has spawned, so they spawn.
Maybe put some stray wither or stray skeleton horsemen in the frozen biomes.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Maybe there are. Maybe the wiki's telling us this and we just didn't realize it.
I kind of want to go do some science now. Now that we can control the weather on Ripple Effect, it sounds like we need to go to some snowy areas, start getting some lightning strikes.
Yeah, there's something else on the wiki that confused me, so that might not be right about the strays. Something about it turns into a skeleton? I always thought it spawned as a skeleton.
Oh, yeah, I saw that too.
Oh, yeah, a horse transforms into a skeletal form, and upon being approached, the horse transforms into a skeletal form.
Yeah, they just wrote that wrong because remember, you'll see a skeleton horse, and then when you walk upon it, it turns into the the skeleton horseman.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just worded it weird.
Yeah, they said the horse transforms.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I expected like a full-on regular horse to transform into a skeleton horse.
Okay, yeah, that's what it looks like it's saying, but
yeah, maybe biome specific. I think that would be really cool. And then I had the idea of maybe changing up how they attack. So as of right now, skeleton horses are really quick, especially in their lateral movement.
Mm-hmm.
But what if you always hear the phrase circle the wagons? It's like an old West thing. And I thought it would be cool if skeleton horses could be generally smart enough to move in a circular motion around the player.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It doesn't have to be a really tight circle, but maybe with a radius of 10 blocks or something. So they're constantly kind of moving. And then, at random, one of the 4 horsemen could do a charge attack. So they would break the circle and then just sprint right at the player. And maybe this is something a skeleton horse can do that a regular horse can't do, and trample.
Okay.
You could cause damage just by running into... We know the Ravager can do this, especially like when it comes to like crops and stuff like that. So what if a skeleton horse could kind of do that to the player? So now you have a new attack you have to worry about. You don't have to worry about just bows. Now you got to worry about getting run over.
Yeah. Make them a little more deadly.
Maybe not all the skeletons have bows and arrows. Maybe some of them have an axe or a sword.
Ooh.
And that'll make the charge attack even worse.
Skeleton with an axe or sword?
Yeah.
Never seen that.
Oh, yeah.
They'll shoot arrows out of them, watch. You gave him a sword or an axe.
But I was just thinking of just ways to change it up. I think it's a fun, unique mob. It's not a crazy difficult mob, and I don't want it to be a crazy difficult mob. I just wanted a little bit of different to the randomization, because right now when those guys spawn, it's just chaotic arrows firing for like 2 minutes before you get them all killed.
Yeah, sometimes they kill each other.
Right. If there could be some strategy in it, that could be cool.
I don't know if you remember this, but I really miss this, and how one of the skeleton horses would have like a lot of hearts.
I don't remember this.
Have like 20 hearts or something like that. Well, 20 hearts would just be regular line, I think. But I remember, like, usually, what are they, 6 hearts or so?
I have no clue.
They're very fragile when you get them, but they used to have one spawn out of the 4, at least randomly. You could get one where it'd have like 2 rows of hearts, and that's your guy. That's the one you keep. You don't get that now.
Mm-hmm.
You get a weak skeleton horse every time. Sometimes they might be fast, but I feel like those horses, because they're more rare, should have something. Even the trample, thing. There should be something special about the skeleton horse where you want one.
Yes.
I don't even think you could put armor on it.
Well, that's why I thought the trampling ability would be a good, unique thing for a skeleton horse. Because the horses you ride normally, they wouldn't actually be good for combat.
Mm-hmm.
But a skeleton horse, now you can trample and cause injury to things. Now it's good for combat. So if you're into horseback combat, you'd want a skeleton horse.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and if their hearts are that weak, it just wouldn't line up.
Right.
So I feel like...
Yeah, so you should definitely have armor on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, skeleton horse, which I don't think... You can't do that right now, right?
No, I don't think you can.
Dumb.
Mm-hmm. It kind of takes the skeletal away.
Yeah.
From the horse. Can't really see it, I guess, but still.
That's all I got.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Alright, so for our topic, we have several questions with the combined efforts of WyreGuy and High Hopes.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to answer some of them. If we run out of time, we're going to move them to the post-show because they are actually fun ones to answer and stuff, which I was super excited for. When I asked in Discord if anyone had any topics, WyreGuy put in kind of a joke question, but then High Hopes just dumped massive amounts of stuff with it, and it was awesome to see. So we want to play around with these. The first question, going on the fact that Hermitcraft has just started up, we're finding out that they're playing on a blind seed.
Mm-hmm.
So they have no clue where things are, and they want to know how would we feel starting a season blind. I did that.
What, started blind?
Yeah, I think the only thing we knew about the seed, or at least I knew about the seed, was that we had a big lake in the middle, and I had a taiga that was right on the side of the lake.
Yeah.
Those were the only things I knew.
This season, I never even picked out my base location.
Yeah.
I just kind of went in there. I had an idea of what I wanted to build, but not the starter idea, not a lot of things I built I didn't really think about at the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. With the SMP, I would love to start new, to be honest. A fresh, new, blind world, I would love to do that. As an SMP, though, I feel like you have other people involved.
Mm-hmm.
To where, you want to make sure everyone's happy. I'm sure everyone would be okay with starting blind, but, maybe you have this plan in your head beforehand and you need a certain location. And to go find it might take a lot longer in a blind world.
Yes.
Than it would, in a voted on world that everyone knows of.
Yeah, exactly. And, I'm trying to think where the desert is in our world right now. I'm, 10 episodes in? And I think I've been to the desert once.
Yeah. Been there twice. I got there. I don't know how I got there. Couldn't tell you what road I took.
Yeah. Same with the gravel area. I've never been there. I got all my gravel from the nether.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm technically still playing blind. I think the only thing I looked up was coordinates for the ocean monument. So we could do the guardian farm. And even then I spent 2 days flying around looking for an ocean monument before I gave up to put it. And I was surprised. Usually you go out into a big ocean or a big body of water, you'll find an ocean monument. And I could not find one. But
yeah, any big body of water usually.
Yep. The closest one was buried under ice.
I remember that.
Yeah, you were there the stream when me and Carl went ahead and built it, had to dig it out.
Mm-hmm. That was all one stream, wasn't it?
That was one stream. We built a guardian. Well, we defeated the Elder Guardians and built a guardian farm. That's how easy those farms are to make now.
So I guess, I don't know, I guess it wouldn't be completely blind. I mean, at the beginning it would be blind. It's a beautiful world, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, you can always look for coordinates. You can always look around. Having said that, they do have borders. I feel like, they're going to update the world even further when 119 comes out.
Yep.
And yeah, so it's blind, but you can always... there's always third-party applications you can use to figure out where certain things are if you need it.
Yeah, I feel like the first part of this season with them will feel a lot like when they were in the Mesa.
Okay.
You remember when they started that season?
Mm-hmm.
They're all going to be relatively close by and building on top of each other. And then when it's time to expand, they're going to open the world borders up. And then you'll start seeing a bunch of mega bases and everything popped up.
Yeah.
Next question is... different topic, but same vein. There are hardcore/half-hearted in other various concepts. What ways might you decide to complicate or simplify the experience? Me and you talked about this.
Yeah, one kind of concept.
And I had an idea for a hardcore world where we could play just straight up hardcore, but if someone died, there would be a way to revive them. You'd have to make some kind of big sacrifice, though.
Yeah.
That just goes on the, I would hate to be building something and have creative juices flowing and really enjoying it just to lose the world.
Yeah. Me and you are on the same page there. Like, hardcore sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
Just a challenge. And it's actually really popular on YouTube, especially the 100 Days Hardcore Challenge.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you die, that's all for nothing. It's, well, yeah, it depends on how many videos you get out of it. That's what you get out of it. But yeah, all that, the builds and everything, you just lost everything. So we were talking about doing one together to where you could possibly, you could die, but you can get brought back, which could switch it up a little bit. It's a new concept, I feel like.
Yeah, and I think it would allow you to play the series longer than it would normally be. It allows you to have an SMP feeling without, I mean, if you're playing a hardcore SMP, that sounds great until you start to lose members to death, and now you're the only one playing in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think the way I would do it is I'd put like restrictions obviously on it. Like maybe when a player dies, they drop their head, so someone else on the server has to go get the head and then like take it to a shrine or something, maybe that's in World Spawn, and place the head on the shrine and I don't know, drop something in there. Maybe it's a netherite block or something. But that's how you would revive a player. So there's still a chance that that player who dies doesn't ever come back. If the players on the server can't find their head or where they specifically died, that person's gone. There's no coming back. So there's still a huge risk in that.
It could be a very passive way to kick someone off the server too.
It could be.
Like, let's say Carl dies, which happens daily.
Mm-hmm.
You could just not bring him back. You'd be like, why deal? We're just going to have to bring him back again.
You were the weakest link. Goodbye.
Yeah, you're wasting our netherite, Carl. Sorry, you can't. We're not going to bring you back anymore. We voted.
That is a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like playing the game show Survivor.
Yeah, vote him off the island.
Yeah, instead of voting off the island, you just kill them and then don't bring them back.
Yeah, that's funny.
Or maybe you need to put them in timeout for a week. So you kill them and you take their head and you just wait.
Yeah. Or you have your head in your inventory and you go on vacation for a week. Everyone's like, oh, Jimbo's got the head in his inventory. He can't come back.
It's in his ender chest. What do we do?
Yeah, be good troll opportunities, but...
Yeah. But that's a series I'd love to do. And it doesn't seem like it would be that hard to do. Playing in that way, I feel you would have to be a very close community. Like you would want to stay near each other a lot.
Yeah.
Just to make sure you don't die and no one finds you.
Right. And I think Grian had a world like this where him and a few other people were playing hardcore. And Grian ended up dying.
Mm-hmm.
So then there was just two left. And I think there was just one at the time because the other member was sick. So that could happen. You know what I mean? You could have one player out there at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But Grian ended up, coming back on somehow. So
yeah, he basically started his entire season over again. Wasn't allowed to touch any of the stuff he had previously built.
Mm-hmm.
He had to work from scratch again.
Yeah.
Which I thought was fine. I know some people were like, well, that's not hardcore. It's like, but he started over. It's just he wants to play with his friends on the same world. It's like,
right.
Him dying would punish his friends because they'd have to start a whole new world over. And it's like, no, the way he did it was perfectly fine.
Yeah, it could ruin the experience for the other members too.
Yeah.
If you die. But yeah, it's just the fact that he had to make up new rules because one thing happened that, didn't expect to happen. That's the problem with the whole hardcore SMP thing.
Yeah, you never know.
If you don't have a revival, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Never know when you just tiptoe off the edge, fall to your death.
Yep.
Happens a lot, actually.
We actually have 3 questions left, but I'm going to do one more and then save the other 2 for post-show.
Okay.
This one is, people are building in caves and on mountains. Will you be seeking out a swamp, deep, dark, ancient city, or something entirely different? I guess when the wild update comes out. And it'll be entirely different. Oh, actually, you know what? I have an idea for a swamp starter base. But it is straight up a starter base, and I wouldn't be there more than 2 months.
Yeah, see, I don't know what the swamp feels like now to say I'm going to build there. I already built in the swamp for one.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to see how, if anything, you're going to build in the mangrove biome part, just because of the new look, the mud, the frogs. You might have frogs throughout different swamps. Just saying, the mangrove one looks more unique. But yeah, I don't see myself building a swamp again, or the deep dark.
Yeah,
I feel like it wouldn't be safe to build down there. It could be if there's no shriekers, but I don't see why you would do that.
Yeah, I can see ancient cities too. People are very much going to go down there and they're going to rip everything out of there. So there's no chance of the warden spawning.
Yep.
And basically it's going to become farmable, even though you don't need deep dark to farm the warden.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see people doing an ancient city more so than anything else. But even though, while it's a very cool structure, it's still a very generic structure. And I think most Minecraft players are better builders. And Mojang knows that, because Mojang creates everything as a blank slate for you to build upon.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying not to build a full-on city for you. They're trying to give you the foundations for you to build your own.
Yeah, and give the game a little more life along the way.
Yeah. But those reinforced blocks, those can be either very useful or absolutely useless.
Yeah. Yeah, he's talking about building in the... Oh, I thought it was caves and cliffs. Because technically, we're building in caves and cliffs right now. He means the new update.
Yeah. I'm not building in caves or on a mountain.
Or a cliff.
I'm building in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing the same. You're building on a island.
Mm-hmm.
I think Casey would be one that's building on a mountain.
Couple people are.
Yeah, Crock is in a mountain.
I guess it depends on if they start updating the biomes. You know, if we do get a big biome update, I might consider one of them, depending on what it looks like for my new base area. But as of right now, all we see is the deep dark, and I'm not going to build there, I don't think.
Yeah. Like I said, I've got an idea for a starter house in a swamp, but that being said, I know it's not very big, and I could not live an entire season there, so...
Yeah, it's a good point. I already did the witch thing.
Yeah.
Don't need a swamp. That's the main reason why you're building the swamp.
That being said, your last base, I forget it's built in a swamp.
Yeah, you can't tell.
Because you just took that train and said, nope.
I think there isn't much swamp left. I think it's less swamp than anything else around there.
Yeah, it's more hole than it is swamp.
Mm-hmm. A swamp hole. But yeah, I could have used the deep dark this season for my idea that I'm doing. Do a little bit of opposite of what I'm building. But I think there's another area that's more compatible with that, which is, it was hell. I was going to build hell.
Yeah.
Deep down in the world, but that's what the nether is. So I don't know why I would try to bring it to the overworld.
You just build a portal and say, done.
There it is. It's all the way down there. Go in there, you'll end up right where everyone else is.
Hey, I found some quartz. Shut up, you.
Yeah, I mean, decorating it to make it look hellish would be cool. Would be a cool look. But yeah, deep dark would be. I don't know. I don't see it as a base. Maybe something to a community collaborative thing. For one, the ancient cities are rare, but kind of like the End Island. How people get together, they make a cool looking end island or an end portal room. You know about those. Maybe, players can come together and make their deep dark look a lot cooler than what it is. That'd be cool to see.
Yeah.
Deep dark build battles.
I think that's going to do it for today's show. Before I have Jimbo read us out, I want to say a huge thank you to all of our patrons who are supporting the show. Our milk level patrons are Aubni, Crock, FragileRock, Casey Plays Games, OB, viperoustuna, and WyreGuy. If you too would like to get access to exclusive benefits and hours of extra content each month, please consider joining at patreon.com/thewithering effect.
And if you like the show, you can share it with all of your friends and on social media. If you listen on Spotify, rate and follow us so you can never miss a future episode. Or if you listen on Apple Podcasts, leave us a nice review. Doing any of these really helps the show reach more listeners. If you'd like to get in contact with us, send an email to podcast@thewitheringeffect.com. Tweet us, leave a voice message, or join our Discord, where you can have a chat with everyone who works on the show and fellow listeners. All the links will be in the show notes.
This show has been brought to you by Jimbo and myself, but also our digital producer, Carl. He helps make sure the show ends up where it should be, and the amazing music you hear in the intro and outro is created by the one and only Decoy. Everyone's social media info can be found in the show notes. You guys have been awesome as always. Thank you so much for getting withered with us. You should probably go drink your milk now. Bye.
See you guys.